Assalamualaikum and good morning. We are from POLITEKNIK MUADZAM SHAH, and today we are going to present to you our project, which is a portable motorized jack adapter. Our lecturer is Puan NORAZMIRA, WATI, BINTI, AWANG. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is AFDLEN HIDAYAT bin HAIROL Sham, matrix number 19DRA 19F1015. And this report was written by me and my group mates, which is AMIR NASIF bin HAZNIZAM, matrix number 19DRA 19F1076, and Muhammad HAKIM bin Ismat, matrix number 19DRA 19F1050. I will start off the presentation with our introduction. The portable motorized scissor jack adapter is an innovation from the traditional scissor jack, which requires a lot of strength, and electric motorized jack, which is heavy, big, and expensive. The concept of this product is to create a motorized adapter that can easily connect and disconnect to the existing traditional scissor jack that is usually equipped in a car. This can reduce the cost to own a motorized jack compared to buying a whole new full set of a motorized scissor jack. The next slide is review of literature. The first is scissor car jacks often employ mechanical advantage to enable a human to elevate a vehicle with only manual force. The notch on the jack seen on the right fits into a jack-up point on a unibody and is designed for a modern vehicle. Electrically operated car scissor jacks are powered by 12-volt electricity directly from the battery to the motor. These automobile jacks are powered by electricity to lower or raise themselves automatically. For the next slides, we will discuss about the main components used in the project. The first main component is a 12-volt motor. The 12-volt motor is commonly used as wiper motor for cars, but it can also used in field where vehicles and projects that require high power. The next main component is 12-volt cordless battery. It is mainly used in the project to supply energy for the motor. Next is a 5-pin power window switch. This is mainly used in the project to reverse the current sent from the power source to the motor to make the jack go up or down. Next is the universal socket joint. It is used in the project to transmit rotary motion and energy generated by the motor. Next is socket extension. The socket extension is required to transmit rotary motion and energy generated by the motor. Lastly, this is a metal book holder. The metal book holder is used in the project as the main housing to hold the motor and battery in place. For the next slide is problem statement. Elderly people or women who have difficulty operating a traditional jack. This is because they don't have the strength and knowledge to operate the traditional jack, which requires a lot of strength. Next is time and energy consumption operating a traditional jack, because having a car jack in your vehicle in case of emergency can mean the difference between 20 minutes to change a flat tire and being stranded on the road waiting for help. Either you go off-roading with your vehicle and need to lift it frequently. Next is objectives. The first objective is to study the relationship between the time taken to lift the car and the force took by the user to lift the car. Next is to design an innovative product and low-cost product that can reduce the time and energy taken by the user to change a flat car tire. Lastly is to fabricate the prototype of the product. For the next slide is project scope. The first project scope is the design development of the project. It started with the three of us had to give individual ideas of a project that we were going to make. At the end, we decided to make the portable motorized jack adapter. After that is housing innovation. We had to fabricate and innovate a housing that was suitable for the jack adapter. After that, we had to look for a 12-volt wiper motor that was suitable for the project and had enough power, and it was suitable with the housing that we had fabricated. Next is wiring setup. We had to determine the wiring and make a custom wiring for the product, and shaft development, and lastly MIG welding. For the next slide is the bill of materials used in the project. Based on the table below, we use the product name, quantity, unit price, and the total. The first is the 12-volt wiper motor. We used only one, and one unit costs 60 ringgit, so the total is 60 ringgit. Next is a universal socket wrench joint. We used two, which comes for a price of 7 ringgit, so the total is 14 ringgit. Next is the 12-volt rechargeable battery, lithium ion with charger. We used only one, which costs 17 ringgit, so the total is 17 ringgit. Next is the power window switch. We used only one that costs for 4 ringgit, so the total is 4 ringgit. Next is the socket extension. We used only one socket extension, which costs 8 ringgit, so the total is 8 ringgit. After that, the metal book holder, which we used two for the price of 8 ringgit each, so the total is 16 ringgit. Next is screw and nut, which is size 14mm. We used 3 of them, which cost 2 ringgit each, so the total is 6 ringgit. Lastly, the jack adapter. We bought one for the price of 33 ringgit, which the total cost 33 ringgit. Summed up everything, we get a total of 158 ringgit. Next is development process. The first step of the development process is identifying the design. The three of us had to generate a few ideas, and at the end we had to choose one idea only. Next is sketch and select of the idea and design. After the three of us had choose the idea of project, we had to make a few designs, and at the end we had to choose one design only. The next step is the process of transferring the design into 3D drawings. We used a Katia app as our 3D model. The last step is the design planning and work process, which we had to look for all the components and fabricate the actual product. As you can see, this is our development process. On the left is our final sketch, and on the right is our 3D model. Based on the sketch, as you can see, from the wiper motor is connected to the custom made shaft, and from the shaft is connected to the existing scissor car jack. For the next slide is the work progress. First, we start off with the housing fabrication, and then the shaft fabrication, the wiring setup, and lastly, the housing and shaft assembly. As you can see on the left is our housing fabrication. We used a suitable metal drill bit to drill a hole to fit a power window switch, and had to drill a few holes to put a screw for the housing. And on the right is our shaft fabrication. We used 2 elbow joints and 2 socket wrenches, but we had to custom made it because we had to use only the male endings. So we cut both of them up and welded the 2 male ends together. Next is the wiring of the project. As you can see, we used universal wires and a car power window switch to make the motor go up or down. Next is the housing and shaft assembly. As you can see, that is our final product. The shaft goes directly to the power window, and the power window is connected firmly to the housing. As you can see, this is the final result. The product is powered by a 12-volt battery that can be recharged anytime. The power is sent to the power window switch and to the wiper motor, and the power is sent to the shaft by rotary motion. For the next slide is the testing progress. As you can see, our project is well functioning. For the next slide is testing on a car. As you can see, the project successfully lifted the car with no problems at all. Last but not least, the conclusion of our project. The conclusion of the adapter motorized jack is more cheaper instead of buying a set of electric car jack, which is more expensive. The adapted electric car jack makes the task much easier by simply attaching the motor to the existing scissor car jack equipped in most cars. The motorized jack adapter is very practical to store in the car boot space because of its small size and has a simple shape. That's all from us. Thank you very much for listening.